Hi Mike, I saw your ticket come in. I just want to give you a couple of quick tips here. Now, the boxes here are actually, they use a bootstrap style called visibility hidden basically for mobile. The reason being is when your site is like this, viewed as this on a mobile device, everything scrunches in as it should, but when you're using certain components, such as those featured boxes, these boxes elevate or increase in height. And if you were to take these boxes, and I made the decision basically to turn them off for mobile, simply because if you take these boxes, and the only way they would work on mobile, because they open up and down like so, is to actually have them fully elongated or open, because what would happen is a user would have to actually physically, you can't hover over them on a mobile device. They'd have to be open in order to be viewed, or somebody would have to touch it, and then the whole page would sort of resize, causing other certain issues. I'm just going to inspect the element here in Firebug and just show you where the style is for that. Right here, if you actually go into the, you'll see it's visible, small, visible, medium, visible, large, which basically means it'll be shown on a tablet. It'll be shown on a tablet, in portrait, a tablet in landscape, and on a desktop. But you can, that's where right within the featured box, or in the page source here. Let me just do it. Okay. So if you go into the page, into your featured box LBI file, open that LBI file up, the featured box's LBI, flip it over to code view, and you can remove these classes right here, and then basically the featured box will be shown on all devices. But right now, because we don't have it set to visible extra small, it's only going to be displayed on larger devices. It is possible, I'll have to figure out a way that maybe you just have this text here show. Okay, so I just wanted to answer that question right now. The reason is it's because it's set to turn off. You can go back in, but the problem is it doesn't display that well on a mobile device, simply because it's a horizontal thing, and it would take up a lot of scrolling. If you add these up on top, you're probably looking at, each box would almost be equivalent to one full screen height. So you'd have to scroll 5 times just to get past these before you got to the content. So from a decision point on whether that would be worth showing on a mobile device, it was just turned off. Okay, because it's sort of a tertiary, we call it a tertiary navigation point, where it's a point of interest, works great for desktop, maybe tablet users, but somebody on an iPhone, it takes up a lot of room. So I'm just explaining that so you understand there. Now, the nature of a responsive website is exactly that. Well, and most mobile phone users are used to that, and that's one of the reasons why we would have that option to turn certain things off for mobile users, because A, they might not be very functional, and B, it just takes a whole, or adds a lot more scrolling to the page, right? So, as it is right now, for your home page, it's not too bad. I mean, you may have other ideas, but at least a user with a couple of flicks can get to the bottom of the site. And that's what most people are used to now for mobile devices and mobile scrolling. They get sort of, an idea of how everything works, and they can get to where they are. But that is the nature of the responsive site. It is possible to make the full site show like it is right now. You can have this full site show on your mobile phone. I don't recommend it, simply because it's because of Google. Google prefers a responsive site for their mobile users or mobile searchers, right? So if your site resizes like yours does, there's a better chance you'll get a listing, or a better listing when somebody's using a mobile device and Google search on that mobile device. There's a better chance your site will show up, or show up better. So that's why we do that. Okay, I'm just going to give you a little bit of updated code. If you can go into your styles.css, go right down to the very bottom, right after this bracket here at the very bottom, and paste in the updated style I'm sending. That'll override those the width here for the mobile users, and that'll sort that out as well. Okay, these are 250, which is fine. These are set to 400. We'll just give you a mobile update for that, which we'll be adding to the system eventually. So other than that, I just wanted to share some things that some new code, and just give you a little bit of insight. Yeah, you could have the full site if you want to. I don't recommend it. Stick with those extra scrolling. That's what mobile users are actually more used to. And those horizontal boxes, those features boxes on the index page, make sure you have links to those elsewhere in your page, obviously. But the reason we don't display them is simply because they do take up way too much room. Right? You would easily double the amount of scrolling that a user had to do or go through by having those boxes visible. So possible to do. Like, I can set up an additional style sheet for you if you really need it. But what I'd recommend at that point is just having the maybe just the text, the join and the continue and that, and just have that text stacked on top of each other as opposed to all the boxes. It would take a little bit of tweaking the style sheet to figure that out, but it is something we could probably come up with.